All right, this is 7th grade, Module 4, Lesson 9 on problem solving when the percent changes. All right, so we have example 1 here. The amount of money Tom has is 75% of what Sally has. So Tom is 75%. Sally is the 100% then. She has 100%. She's the whole. After Sally spent being subtract, $120, Tom saved all his money. Tom now has 50% more than Sally. So Tom has now jumped himself to 150%. How much money did they have in the beginning? And we're going to use a visual representation here. So let's go ahead and put at first. Let's talk about what they had at first. All right. So we have Sally. And then we have Tom. And like we mentioned up here, Sally's 100%, Tom is 75. So we're going to break this into kind of a number line type thing. So we have 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100%. All right, so Sally is 100%. So I'm going to shade in all this up to 100. Now Tom is 75%. All right, so we're later going to figure out how much is each of these sections. Not percent-wise, we're going to find out how much money each of these sections is. All right, and in order to do that, we need to fill in our second number line, which is what they have after they spent their money, or basically what do they have now. So we have Sally, and we have Tom. And we're going to chunk this again at 25%, 50%, 75%, 100%. But now I'm going to extend this. This will be 125% and 150%. The reason I went to 150% is because up here at one point it says Tom is now 50% more than Sally. So even though Sally spent some money, she has 100% of her money still with her, okay? Not all of it, but what she has is worth 100%. If Tom has now passed her up, if Tom has 50% more than her, then that still makes Sally 100%. She's still the whole. All right, so we're going to find out what is this worth here. How much are these worth, these gaps here? Sally spent some money, and you can see that because Tom did not. So Sally spent money. She spent $120. I'm going to put this in a different color. She spent $120. So I need to divide 120 into two sections here. So if I divide 120 into 2, I get 60. So each of these each of these sections represents $60. Now, they don't want to know what they have now. They want to know what did they have at the beginning. So I'm going to come up here, and each of these sections is worth 60. So $60, $60, $60, $60. And if I add that all up, Sally has a total of $240 at the beginning. How much did Tom have? $60, $60, $60. He had $180 at the beginning. And that's your answer. So that's using a visual representation to sort of help you. Now, example 2, I mentioned in class that example 2 was just a really bad worded question. So we're going to skip it. I didn't like how it was worded. So we're going to go straight to example 3. I don't want to teach you a problem just to teach it to you and make it more confusing than it is. So we're going to skip number 2. All right. So example 3 here says Kimberly and Mike have an equal amount of money. After Kimberly spent $50, so right here they have an equal amount of money, which means they're both representing 100% at this moment. After Kimberly spent $50 and Mike spent 25, okay, so Kimberly is out 50. Mike is out 25, okay? Mike now has 50% more than Kimberly. All right, which now means Mike's at 150 where Kimberly's at 100%. How much money did they have at first? All right, so we're going to do an equation first here instead of going straight to the math. So I'm going to let my X, I'm going to make it red, and this red X is going to represent Kim's money. So I'm going to find out how much Kim has because she has spent $50 and she's at the 100%. And if I can figure out what she has, then I can figure out what both of them had at the beginning. All right, so here we go. Now I know that Mike at the end, I have to kind of work my way from the end back. So I'm going to start with Mike has 50% more than her. So I'm going to take 50% and I'm going to change it into a decimal and make it 0.50. So he has 50% more than her. So I'm going to times that to the red X being Kim's money. So his 50% times her amount. And then he spent $25. So I'm going to set that equal to $25. And this will get rid of what Mike has right now. And it'll leave me with what Kim has. All right. So I'm going to divide decimal 50 by both sides here to get that X by itself. And when I do that, I get $50. Now that is what Kim has. So I should probably put that in red. This is Kim's money now. This is what she has right now. So she spent 50 and she's still holding 50. So you have to think of it. She right now has in her hand a $50 bill. She's holding it after she already spent it. So what did she have before she went shopping? If she has 50 now, she spent 50. So this is the money she spent, but we're going backwards. Okay. How much money did she start with? She started with $100. And since they were both equal at the beginning, then they both have $100. Now, we're going to show you the same problem using a visual. All right. So we're going to say at first, up here. And I have Kim. And I have Mike. And we're going to chunk this. 25, 50, 75, 100. Now this is the easiest one to fill in just because they're both at 100%. So I'm just going to go ahead and take both of these to 100%. But again, we're going to come back and figure out what those sections are worth. Now let's do after they spent their money. All right, so I have Kim and Mike. And we're going to chunk this again, 25%, 50%, 75%, 100%, 125%, and ending with 150%. And the reason I went to 150 is because he is 50% more. So I know Mike is going to go all the way over here, okay? And if he's 150% more, that means Kim is at 100. She's the whole. She's 100%. So if you notice here, we have those two missing sections again. We have this missing section and this missing section. Now, I know that she spent a total of $50. So 50 divided by 2. I need to break that 50 into two sections, which is going to give me 25. So each of these sections are worth 25. So if I come back up here to the first, because again, they want to know what did they have at first, and I go 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25, I get 100. And that's what we got up here as well. All right, so let's go ahead and answer C. C is asking which method you prefer. Do you prefer doing things with math like I did at the very beginning here, or do you prefer drawing the picture? So this one here is completely your opinion, so go ahead and fill it in yourself, which method you prefer and why. And then we're going to go to the exercise. Now this exercise is one I am grading, but I will set it up for you. You just need to finish it. Okay, so I'm not going to do the whole problem because I want to see how far into this problem you can get. So we have Todd and Jalen. We have two gentlemen here, Todd and Jalen. So I'll go ahead and just write down their names. Okay, Todd has 250% more games than Jalen. That means Jalen is the whole. He's 100%. Now, it's very quick and easy for students to go, oh, Todd, he's 250. No, he's 250 more than. So I have to first make them even. So if Jalen's 100, then Todd has to be 100. Now you can see that they're even. Now, for Todd to have more than, that means I need to add that 250 onto that, which gives me a total of 350%. Okay, so you have to make them even first and then an additional 250. All right, so I'm going to change this into a decimal, which would give me 3.5. All right, now I'm going to go back to reading. Todd has 56 games. All right, so 56. Todd gives Jalen 8 games. So Todd minus 8, Jalen plus 8 of his games. How many video games does Todd and Jalen have at the beginning? And then how many do they have now? So you're going to find, and you don't need to draw a picture for this unless it helps you. Okay, you can just do the math. How much money, or not money, excuse me, how many video games do they have at the beginning? And then how many video games do they have now? The now is with that minus 8 and plus 8. All right, so that ends this tutorial. Good luck on this last question. Have a great day.